Hi, Anushka. Thanks for joining us today. I'm sure everything that we're going to discuss here today is going to help all of our students so much. We actually have a lot of students who are considering Northeastern right now. And as students sort of firm their college list and their ED choices up, I think this is going to be a very beneficial chat for them. So thanks for doing this and thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course, anytime. This is the best part of the job is to be able to genuinely interact and help students out. So I'm so happy that you reached out with this opportunity. Just to introduce myself, my name is Anushka, like Avinav said. I use she, her pronouns, and I am an assistant director of admission at the Office of Undergraduate Admissions at Northeastern. I manage, or I'm the territory manager for South Asia, Central Asia, and the Middle East. So that includes India, of course. So I'll be the best point of contact for anyone who has questions through the process. A part of this is just doing questions right now as we're doing it today. But if you have questions in the future, Abhinav could definitely share my contact information with you, and feel free to reach out.
Absolutely. Thanks for that. And definitely my questions today are going to be a little more generic. And I'm sure if students have specific questions, they can reach out to you personally as well.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So just getting right into it, to start it off, I think Northeastern has become, such a popular destination, I think, over the last 5 years, Anushka. And I was just curious, what made that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what has really made Northeastern such an exciting and popular choice for students, not just in the US, but especially internationally, the kind of growth we've seen with our international student population over the past few years has been nothing short of extraordinary. And I think a dominating reason for that is the experiential education model of education that we offer at Northeastern. I just think that today in 2022 and in this day and age, students are looking to come out of their undergraduate degree with very tangible skills, with tangible work experience, with a lot of with experience to set them up to transition for their life after college. And I think that therefore the Northeastern model of having students learn in the classroom, of course, but having their 4 years be interspersed with so many opportunities to step outside the classroom through co-ops and through research and studying abroad and all of the different kinds of experiential learning opportunities that we offer and that are very much an integrated part of the curriculum. I think that's what attracts students to the kind of experience that Northeastern has to offer. So I think that's the differentiating factor, and that's what has become one of the biggest reasons why we've seen the kind of growth that we've had, is that within the top 50 US universities that are, all so good and all offering really excellent programs, our differentiating factor of experiential education was so much in demand right now. And so I think that's caused our growth to be the way that it has.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's something that nowadays, like, we speak to a lot of our students about, that yes, one thing is, of course, going to college and having a great experience for 4 years, but now so many, even with the cost of education just going up slowly, parents really want to look at outcomes. And I see more and more universities, including Northeastern, doing such a good job with the co-op programs and helping students with internships. And I know for a fact, a lot of our students they look at Northeastern and they're like, okay, great. It's also in Boston along with all these opportunities. So yeah, I think it's been amazing just to see the success of Northeastern over the last few years. And I'm sure it's going to carry on in the coming years as well.
I hope so. And I do think the pandemic has also played a huge role because of the fact that the pandemic has shaken up so many people's lives. So many people have had to really change the way that they operate. People's jobs situations have changed, things like that. So I think what you mentioned about the outcome of education and putting in that kind of money, really, really wanting a tangible outcome from it is something that people are looking for. And so that, again, that goes back to the experiential model that we offer, that kind of that sets you up to really be able to have success at the end and after college. So I think that's definitely true.
Yeah. Awesome. So that leads me to, my next question, which is more on the admission side of things now. I know Northeastern believes in a holistic admissions review, which a lot of colleges in the US do. But just to break it down for all the students who watch this, what does a holistic admissions review exactly mean? And what are the factors that are being considered when their application is being reviewed?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a holistic admissions review is designed to help view students as more than just one element that goes into who they are. I think just acknowledging the fact that the students that apply to universities at that age are living, breathing individuals with personalities and interests, and more than just the numbers on their transcript. I think that's just the heart of the holistic review process, is to be able to capture information that looks at different aspects of a student's life, so that we can really paint a picture for ourselves of who the student is, not just what they've achieved, so that we're able to then determine if they would be a good fit for the university. So that's the other aspect of holistic review, is that it has qualitative components in it, which allows us to supplement the quantitative components, and then really be able to see if a student would enjoy the Northeastern experience, if they would be a good fit for our university, and if we would be a good fit for them, because at the end of the day, we want to be admitting students that we can serve, and that we think we would be able to impact their life for the better. So I think that's the point of the holistic process. And I know that that's vastly different from the experience that students have who apply to universities in India. As someone who went to high school in India and did come to the US for college, I for a long time was considering staying on in India for my undergrad. And I knew that all I needed was good scores in my ISC final exams at the end of grade 12. So just being acknowledged for more than that is I think the point of the holistic review process. So to break it down, your application consists of both quantitative and qualitative components, and every single piece of information is considered by the university that goes into your application. I often like to tell students to think of their application like a pizza, and every single piece of information is a slice in the pizza. I eat my whole pizza, so I'm looking at everything that comes my way. Really using that to try and understand who the student is. I will say, I get the question a lot in terms of what is the most important component of your application. I don't think there's just one important component. Like I said, we look at everything, but I do think that the high school transcript that indicates both the students' rigor of their curriculum as well as the grades that they've got, and then their activities list where they get to talk about their engagements and who they are outside of the classroom, and then their essay. With those three elements, I think we capture a really, really great set of information about the student. The letters of recommendation are always important to be able to hear from other individuals who know the student well, what they're like in the classroom and who's the student. So I'd say with those 3 to 4 components, we're able to paint a pretty good picture for ourselves. Northeastern doesn't have a supplemental essay, so for us that essay component just is the essay. I think that's also what makes us an application too, because there's lesser work, I guess, there's no supplement to it. So that's just to the question. That going back to it, I think with the high school transcript and the activities list and the essays, I'd say are where the bulk of the application really lies.
Awesome, that's great to know. You mentioned something, Anushka, about the personality and the kind of students, and it's beyond just the numbers. It's beyond just their grades and SAT or ACT scores. So, I don't know if this question is exactly valid or not, but is there a type of student who would succeed at Northeastern?
I think there definitely is. Based off of what we see in our student body, I think that some qualities that really stand out to me that connect all Northeastern students who are so different from each other, but the kind of qualities that we see across the board. I think students who are really looking for a very hands-on education experience. I think that's the kind of student that really, really succeeds at Northeastern. I also think someone that's looking to learn outside of the classroom is someone that really succeeds at Northeastern, just going back to those experiential learning opportunities. Yeah. I think someone who has an entrepreneurial mindset and is in a lot of ways driven and ambitious, but is willing to take the initiative to take advantage of opportunities around them, is the kind of student that really succeeds, because there's so many opportunities available. And while a lot of them are built into the curriculum, to access the additional ones that are not built in, all a student has to do really is to speak up and share that they're interested in something like that. And the opportunities are then endless. So I think someone who's able to advocate for themselves and really doesn't need to really know what they want, but knows the kind of experiences that they want and are able to share that with the resources that they have, is the kind of student that would really enjoy this experience. And then finally, I think someone who has a global mindset, someone who not only wants to be surrounded by people from all around the world, but also want to take time to spend some time in another part of the world. And I think a lot of the times international students think that coming to the US is, they're already studying abroad for their college education, so they don't really need to go abroad beyond that. And I mean, that's completely valid, but I do think that there's so much benefit to spending time in another country. And if you're already doing that by coming to the US, who's to say you can't do it a little bit more and spend, either a summer or a full semester, or take advantage of our abroad classes. There's so many fun ways to study abroad that are not necessarily taking time away from your semesters in the US, which I think is the concern for a lot of students. But yeah, just having a global mindset is something that we see across our student body, is because of the number of study abroad opportunities that we have, and being able to then bring that experience back to your college experience is something really special, I think.
Yeah, amazing. That's I guess the question was valid in that case, because there is a clear set of qualities that most of the Northeastern students do have. That's nice. Cool. One of the questions, I think, that since the pandemic sort of struck and colleges went test optional, one of the questions that has slowly emerged is, are colleges admitting students who are applying test optional? And if yes, then what are the numbers like? So are there any statistics that you might be able to share on Northeastern? One, in terms of the number of students who are applying test optional, and two would be how many of them are actually getting admitted.
Absolutely. So I'm going to be brutally honest, in the fall 21 entering class, about half of them did not submit standardized testing. So it was very, very much a 50-50 split for our enrolling class in the fall. For this past cycle, so the students who are going to be enrolling in a couple weeks, for fall 2022, I'm actually going to give you an international statistic. About 49% of international students did not submit testing. So it is very, very much optional. It is, there's no disadvantage to not submitting testing. And I think that's something to be really, really clear about, because the shift towards being test optional in the US by so many universities, including Northeastern, is a recent one, and it can cause a fair amount of stress, I think, among students who are really trying to understand, okay, but if I don't submit testing, is my application going to be disadvantaged? Does that mean my chances of getting in are reduced? For us, the answer is 1000% no. It is entirely optional. Your application, if it doesn't have testing, is not going to be disadvantaged, and your chances of getting in are not reduced at all. I, in fact, would like to encourage students to really submit testing only when they think it is reflective of their grades on their transcript. If it makes sense with their GPA and their performance as a student, if those two go hand in hand, and if it is at the upper end or above the middle 50 or the average SAT or ACT score for Northeastern. You can find information, and I'm sure you have access to all this information as well, so you can share it with your students. But for every university, we're required to release a freshman profile every year that gives prospective students an idea of the average numbers in the class in terms of average GPA, average standardized testing. So looking at that range and really using it to inform your decision about whether it makes sense for you to submit a score or not. So only if it's on the upper end of the range or above that range would I recommend submitting standardized testing. If it's not, just take advantage of the test optional policy and don't send it our way. Because I think, in fact, submitting a score that is on the lower end of the range or below the range, or is not making sense, you're a straight A student, but you're getting a 1300 on your SATs, that doesn't add up, and that is going to disadvantage your application. So if there's a score in the application, I can't ignore it. I have to consider it. So you have to make the choice about only sending me a score that you think is strengthening, or at least making sense or aligning with the rest of the data in your app. So super, super honest about that. I think it just is beneficial to the students if we as counselors are honest about stuff like this. So I hope those statistics and that bit of advice about submitting standardized testing is helpful for your students.
Yeah, definitely. Because, in terms of the latter part of it, we advise our students the same thing, because we'll tell them that do take the SAT or ACT, and if it's a competitive score, then definitely submit it. And if it's not a competitive score based on that university, you can apply test optional. But I think nice thing to hear from you is that at least in Northeastern, because I know this is not true for every university, at least in Northeastern, that split is pretty much 50-50. I know a lot of colleges do say they're test optional, but the number of students getting admitted are not as high through test optional.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to know that, you know, Northeastern is kind of standing up to that policy and saying we are truly not, you know, putting you at any disadvantage if you're not submitting a test score, which is great.
Definitely.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Anushka. So brings me to my, you know, last question. And it's amazing the number of applications that have increased at Northeastern in the last few years. I was looking at the statistics and I think I saw either in the last year or 2 years ago, there were more than 75,000 applications. And so the question that I have is, with that number of applications and the acceptance rate being very low as well, students who are sure about Northeastern as a college, should they be considering ED1 or ED2? And is that really going to make a difference? Does that help help the students in the admissions process?
Short answer, yes, absolutely. Long answer, also yes, but to provide some context, last year we received about 92,000 applications. So enormous applicant pool. So I think that yes, if you are interested in Northeastern and we are a top choice for you, you should be applying early decision. No question about it. It is 1000% going to be beneficial for you if you submit an early decision application to us. Just given the state that we're in right now with the number of students that are applying and the goals that we have as a university, I think 100%. If you are interested in the university and it is towards the top, if not the top of your college list, 100%, please apply early decision. I cannot stress that enough. And I think you should reinforce that with all of your students. Early decision is the way to go if we are a top choice for you. If we're not, definitely not the way to go because it's a binding contract. But if we are, that is the way to go for sure.
Yeah, and you know, it's something that a lot of our students ask us sometimes that, you know, if you apply early decision, are we limiting ourselves to just that college? And I'm like, you know what, the chances of you getting admitted to certain colleges, which includes Northeastern, significantly just changes in regular decision pool. And early decision is such a nice way to just demonstrate interest in the best way possible, right? So
definitely, yeah. Great. And we're really open about the fact that we hope to enroll about 50% of our incoming class through our early decision rounds. Wow. We're very open about that. So I think that alone tells students that that is definitely the way to go, because just given our university goals and our early decision goals.
Yeah. Amazing. I really appreciate this, Anushka, because I think you've been very honest and very, you know, just straight up and candid about everything. And I'm sure this is going to help so many students that we're helping, and hopefully a lot of other students out there as well. So
that's the goal. That's why we do what we do. Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. And I hope you have a good fall semester with students coming back on campus soon. And obviously we'll be in touch, and hopefully you have lots and lots of applications to review from India this year.
I'm sure I will. They never disappoint. They keep coming and I will keep reading them. But yeah, I appreciate it, Abhinav. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to do this. To all the students listening, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Don't email me asking me when the deadline is. You can find that online. But if you have a question that is more specific and that you can't find the answer to online, please reach out. I will be more than happy to email you back, schedule a call, do whatever it takes. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thanks, Anushka.